Welcome to How to Play with me, Peter. Today we are playing 5 Tribes. In 5 Tribes, you have just arrived at the city of Nacala, only to find out the Sultan has died. This gives you the opportunity to take control of the city by enlisting the help of the 5 tribes that occupy it, and possibly invoking the help of the old jinns to use their powers. You start the game with a number of gold coins and a herd of camels. You will also find around the board palm trees, which score points later on, palaces, again score points, a resource track, a selection of jinns, the bank with more gold coins, and then a 5x6 grid of a variety of tiles that are occupied by a number of coloured meeples denoting the 5 tribes of the city. And the 5 tribes will give you various actions throughout the game to help you complete your objective. The player with the most victory points at the end of the game is the winner, and you gain victory points in a number of different ways. The way a turn works is by starting to decide who goes first. You have a bidding order track in which players will bid in this order for their turn order, and you have a turn order track where players bid this amount depending on where they want to fall in the turn order or where they would like to go. For example, I might want to pay 3 gold coins to go this far up the turn order track because I think there are some good moves, but it's not worth paying more than 3. However, blue might decide it is worth paying more and go above me on the turn order track, and so might pink. So turn order would be carried out in this order, and once that player has played, they then go back on the bidding track, and they will be the first person to bid at the start of the next round for the turn order. Once player order has been decided, you can then carry out your turn. At the start of your turn, you have to pick a tile from those available and pick up all the tribes that are found on that tile. These then get placed on the board following a number of rules. You place a tribe member on an adjacent tile one at a time, but you cannot go diagonally, you cannot backtrack immediately, and you have to end on a tile that already has tribes on that tile. The other stipulation for moving is that the last tribe member you place must end on a tile where his own tribe currently is. In this case, I will place a builder on this tile, which is my finishing tile, and it already has a builder on it. Once your movement phase is carried out, you then carry out the action of that tribe. So in this case, because I ended with the builders, I would carry out the builder action. The builders allow you to gain gold coins based on the blue squares, including the one you landed on, that surround it. You add up the number of blue squares and you multiply it by the number of builders you picked up. In this case, I picked up 2 builders and there are 3 blue tiles, so I'd get 6 gold coins for doing that. If I was to end with the viziers, I would score points at the end of the game for collecting them. If I was to end with the elders, they would score me points at the end of the game, but they also give me additional things throughout the game, such as summoning jinns. The merchants allow me to take resources from the resource track. If I pick up 2 of these, I would take the first 2 resources from the resource track. The last tribe is the assassins. They allow you to kill off a meeple that an opponent has, if it is an elder or a vizier, or they allow you to kill a tribe member on an adjacent square based on the number of assassins you picked up. For example, if you pick up 2 assassins, you can kill a meeple that is 2 adjacent squares away. Once you have carried out the action of the meeple, you can then carry out the action of the tile you finished on. If you finish on a tile with this icon, you can pay 3 gold coins to take 1 resource from the first 3. The resources will score you points at the end of the game for variety, based on this score track on the back of your cheat sheet. So the more variety you have in your resources, the more points you will score. The resource track also contains fakirs. A fakir will allow you additional actions throughout the game. If you finish on this tile, you can pay 6 coins to take 2 resources from the first 6. If you land on this tile, you can collect a djinn, but a djinn will cost you either 2 white meeple or a white meeple and a fakir. Djinns score you points at the end of the game based on this value here, and also provide you with a power. All the power-ups are denoted on the cheat sheet, and it's worth looking at these when the selection of djinns is out. The other 2 tiles that have actions are this one here. You place a palm tree on this tile and it scores an additional 3 points. Or this one here. You place a palace on this tile which scores an additional 5 points. If on your turn, when you pick up your meeples, you empty a tile, you gain that tile. And the way you do that is you place one of your camels on that tile, and at the end of the game it scores you the points found in the top left corner. The game ends when either a player has placed all their camels on the board, or there are no legal moves available. If the game ends via camels, then you finish the round, so everyone gets an additional turn, and then the game ends. Remember, it is important to know how meeples move. So I'm going to go through another example. You start on a tile, you pick up all the tribes available on that tile, and you place them one by one onto adjacent squares, following the rules explained earlier. You then pick up the meeples on that tile of that colour. In this case, I picked up the viziers, which would score me points at the end of the game. I then carry out the action on the tile. In this case, I place a palace there, and that tile is now worth an additional 5 points. The game continues in this fashion until the end criteria are met, and then you use the score pad to add up your scores, and the player with the highest score has control of the city and is therefore the winner. And that is how you play 5 tribes.